Hello and welcome to that Peter Crouch podcast with me, Peter Crouch. You've got Chris Stark and a notorious SID and a special guest, Mr. Troy Deeney.
How are we?
Yeah, good, right?
I think I've hit the big league now. I'm on the big show, yeah. I saw everybody else being on it. I was thinking, they'll give me a call one day. One day it'll come. And then I finally made it. Thank you. I'm a bit disappointed in you, actually.
What have I done?
Because you're a Watford legend. Like I thought you'd have looked after me, give me a little bit of a bring in. Nothing. Looked after yourself.
What do you mean? Like
I've
bringing
been wanting
you
to get
onto
onto this podcast for years.
That's a lie, mate.
And it's scandalous
I
of you.
swear that we've invited you or wanted you on for a long time.
No. An invite of like, you should come on, mate. That's not really an invite, is it? A formal invite. We would like you on at this time. Yeah. How are you fixed next week? That's an invite.
Was it a tactical non-parching though from you?
Listen, Troy knows. I think the world of him. So
he's been parching you on this podcast for a long time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you know, he almost had you in Hollywood at one stage. Jason Sakudis, Ted Lasso.
Yes, yeah.
So we're all discussing, and he's talking about getting to understand football in the Premier League. And we all said, watch videos of Henry, and he was,
all the good players.
He went. What you need to do if you want to understand English football, you need to look at Troy Deeney, right? And then obviously he was like, "I will do."
And still nothing happened.
No. Well, I assumed you get a call up at some point.
No,
but it's all good.
It's all good. I'm a big fan of all of yours in many different aspects. But this show is led, so thank you for having me.
Well, mate, that's very kind. It's good we've got you on. We had Elton John on not too long ago, and I felt that maybe that's unplugged now. The situation can develop so that you're on. Okay. It's kind of perfect for me as a Watford fan, having a great season on
just
the podcast.
Just missing Barnsley on here to start rapping.
Yeah, basically.
It's got to talk.
We did try for that at one point, didn't we? I'm sure there was a Crouch Fest.
We had Ollie Murs singing. He done World in Motion, and I think John Barnes. I'll be honest with you, I think he asked for too much money. Like, Barnesy, what's going on? So I ended up fucking rapping.
It's true, isn't it?
Oh, it's fair to be honest, as you know.
Well, I just want it on record. I didn't ask for anything. I'm just a fan. I'm just happy to be here.
All right, where should we start then? So much to go through.
Wherever you want.
Yeah, God, right at the start, let's talk about, obviously, there's a lot of things obviously well documented with you growing up and things like that, but getting into football, like how did it all come?
Weirdly, you had a large part to play this, and you never noticed. But my kid brother was at Aston Villa when you was there, when you joined from Southampton. So he was in the youth development. So all my career basically was coming to Bodymore Heath, watching my brother train, going home and then trying to recreate it with him at home, like in the back garden and. Well, when we eventually got a garden, or in the flat that we used to live in. So I never really had any, all this story already, but I never really had any really youth team experience. It was just watching my kid brother who's 3 years younger than me, like seeing him at Bodymore Heath and they used to get beans on toast and the Yazoos. That's all I used to love. I used to think, mate, if I can get Nick in there, I can get a Yazoo. Because I used to look after
Remember the Yazoos?
Yeah. At the end, I used to look after the young boys. So, I was around, obviously, just watching our kid, and then that was it, really. Just got into football with a bit of luck, really. Used to be a builder, and a lot of the stories. I'm sure you got asked loads of questions, but a lot of the stories were from not being the generic way into football. Is the way I would say it.
Which is brilliant though, because everyone's journey is different, isn't it?
Absolutely.
The majority is through an academy and Sunday League academy, but the best thing is when you finally get to the goal. Oh yeah, everyone's there for a reason.
Absolutely, but I never had. It was never my dream. I was just like, if you imagine at school, I was always like 4th or 5th picked. I was never last. I was never first.
Yeah.
But you just wanted Troy on your team because he was all right and he could run around a lot. And then I used to be a right back as a kid as well. And then I think they just realised everyone was getting quicker. They just moved me up a little bit. So I went to right back to a centre midfielder. But I was 16, playing against 35-year-olds and stuff, playing open age football. So I could look after myself from a young age. And then when I got scouted for Walsall, I was centre midfielder, and they put me in. And 2 days of training, they were like, "Get up for a big fella." This is League Two, Walsall as well. So that I never lifted a weight till then, but I just knew how to look after myself. And just had to learn it all, mate. Learn it all from watching you boys, just watching it on Sky and BBC Match Today and go, all right, what did they do? And that's why like I'm so, like I love sport. It does wind me up a little bit with some of the lads today that they go, don't really watch football. I'm like, well, how can you learn if you're not watching? But that's only because of my experiences was watching my brother at training, coming and watching you guys train, watching you guys on TV going, right, he did that in that moment. Let me go and practice that up against the wall. And that's how I got about into football, really.
But I suppose that it takes a lot to be able to kind of understand that, isn't it? And like, take that on board and go and practice it as well. So it shows a lot.
Well, when you're broke, mate, you and imagination is all you've got, isn't it? Like you can't really go and say, can I get that new PlayStation game or that new Xbox game or Nintendo back in the day? It was like imagination. We had a Pele VCR. My dad used to give us a tennis ball, practice that, because we did a flat, really narrow corridor. That was our goals, like me and my brother. Do you know what I mean? So all the imagination came from there, really.
Yeah. So how do you Chelmsley Town? Is that right?
Chelmsley Town.
That was what you said. So when you go from being how did you become a builder? Number one, were you just helping out, or were you that?
No, I went to college, mate. Yeah, right. Did everything. I was crap at it, mind, but it was something. I got kicked out of school at 15. But I've always been working from like 11 years old, and like when you say it now, everyone's a bit like, what? But at 11, I used to be a glass collector. I'd help my mum clean at the bookies, whatever it was to help out at home. And so like I went to building because I got kicked out of school. My mum was like, you're either going to get a job or you're going to go to college. And my cousin, who I loved at the time, still do love him by the way, but properly like idolised him. He was at building college, so I just applied, got in, got £50 a week and a bus ticket, and there I was a builder. That lasted 3 months. Went there at 16, finished at 18, 3 months on a building site, got sacked on the Friday because the job had ended, and that was it. Got pissed on the Friday, went and played football on the Saturday. My mum kicked me out of the house and got scouted to play for Walsall on that Saturday.
But you know what you're saying? You're saying these things, right? Obviously, this for me is like an amazing story because it's obviously tough, right? You've left school at 15. You're getting a job. You've had a job since you were 11. Like these are all just rolling off the tongue, like it's normal, right?
Yeah.
But like that's not.
No, it's not normal at all. Yeah, absolutely. And like,
was it tough then? Like,
do you know what it was?
You were standing out. That's the thing. You make this sound like it's just the everyday story.
No, because it's everyone's normal, right?
Everyone's
normal is different. So my normal to your normal to your normal, all different things. Like he was in the Maldives doing up influencer the other day. Like that's his normal.
He's a content creator.
Yeah. That's his normal. That's his normal.
He lives a different lifestyle.
Steve does well.
Steve does well.
So like I said, everyone's normal is completely different. I had a tough upbringing, but was certainly one of like love and affection. But life circumstances made it that I had to be grow up a lot older than I probably should have.
Yeah.
But you get scouted on that day. So that one day you've had a bit of a shit week, it's fair to say.
Yep.
It sounds like you've had a good night the night before.
Oh, it's a great night. If anyone's been to Solihull Masons on a Friday, straight after work, I had 300 quid I got paid. So my mum got 100, I had 200 quid, and I thought, like most people when you get sacked, you're going to have a little sulk. So I've gone on the tiles with the boys, done 200 quid in about an hour, and that was it. I was finished.
Are they your same mates now?
Yeah, the boys are still about. And I'm genuinely thinking about doing a podcast with all of them to tell all the Troy stories, because I feel like people...
Troy stories.
Because I feel like...
It's nice, it's got a name already.
Love this, Troy.
Do you know, with you boys, because you've got like... A lot of your stories will be with other pros who can vouch for you. Like all mine are with my mates from home, so half people are like, "Oh, he's full of shit." Him, but I'm like, "No, it genuinely happened," and no one's ever called me a liar yet. So, I'm thinking about just doing one so they can verify all of the things that actually happened. But so we did that. Played Saturday.
So you're worse for wear, right? This is the day you get scouted for Walsall.
I'm bang in trouble.
Yeah, and you're playing up front, and you've had a big.
I've had a good game, and the guy Mick Households from Walsall, he come and watch his son played on the opposite team. But I genuinely believe like everything in my life happened for a reason. So all of the madness that's happened actually happened for me to be in all these situations. So my mum cleans the house even to this day every Saturday, top to bottom, spring clean. And she's gone, right, time to do your room, get out. So I've got out, gone and done, played football. This guy's come to watch his son because his game's cancelled and sees me. It's like it's all
aligned.
It's all meant to happen. Like and even then, I still nearly balls that up because I went out on that Saturday, played Sunday league with my pals, went out again Sunday, and then Monday I was banging trouble, like, and I didn't got nothing to get up for, and I'm just hearing the door like banging. I was like, "Who the fuck's that?" Like, put my head out the window. It was a guy from Chelmsford Town, Derek. He was like, "You've got that trial today." I'm like, fucking all right then. Get my trackie on, quick wash, brush my teeth, get down, take my boots in a big Asda bag, muddy boots from Sunday league. He drives me there, goes to leave. I'm like, "Where the fuck are you going?" I ain't got no money. He had to lend me 20 quid to get back, and a one-day trial turned to a 9-week trial.
Really?
Yeah.
That's class.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good.
So where'd you stay then for that 9 weeks? Well,
I was at home, back and forth. And I didn't have a job. I was living at my mum's, and to be fair to my mum, I always give her credit for this. She was like, "It's a chance for you to make it, so we'll figure it out." Because I've got like I'm one of 5, so she's got my other brothers and sisters to feed, and she was like, "Don't worry about it, we'll figure it out." So if it weren't for my mum, mate, I'd have quit then and just been on a building site or probably the Jag. To be fair, that's what it is in Birmingham. So I'd have been on those.
So in that 9-week period, obviously you're a good player anyway. It's undoubted that you've got hard work, commitment. That's a given. How long into that trial was you? Do you know what? I can
never. Do you want to know why? Because I went on like I don't think it's legal anymore, but it was like a youth trial, but I wasn't signed. I mean, a youth loan, sorry, but I wasn't signed. I went to Hales Owen, and I kept saying to the guy who was Martin O'Connor, used to play for Blues and that, and he was a hero because I'm a Blues fan. So I was like, like when they let me go from here, do you reckon I can get a game with you lot? And he was like laughing at me. I scored 8 in 10 games, and he was like, "You're not staying here." And I was like, no, because they were getting paid £50 a goal. So I was thinking, like, I'm doing all right here. I can make 200 quid here a weekend. I'm all right. He was like, "You're not staying here." And then sent me back to Warsaw, and I got my first contract. I've got a picture of it. I'll send it to you after. You can show the people. It's first contract at Warsaw was £150 a week, rising to 180 over 3 years if I played like 47 games or something like that.
Wow.
But the max I could earn was £180 a week. But I was buzzing, mate. This is a job. I've been on the building site 6 till 6.
So that's your first contract.
Yeah.
So there's no negotiation of sorts.
No.
You know,
League Two.
Not a Troy Deeney
Sign
negotiation.
Yeah. Just all right, no problem. I got £150 plus a trade ticket to get me there and back.
Hi, Peter Crouch of that Peter Crouch podcast. We called to arms last time. We asked you to subscribe. Plenty of you did subscribe, but of course, we need more. We'd love you to subscribe. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoy our content, if you enjoy the podcast. Really does help.
See, I don't want to skip forward too many steps on this, but I think this is what I think some people forget, maybe about yourself as well, is that whatever happens later in your career or even around contract negotiations, things like that, you've had your experiences of being given a contract and told it's this or nothing. And then you earn your way up to a point where you can start
of course you do.
Bringing in your own things and saying, no, this is on my terms.
But even with that though, we've all been in a situation where we feel we're in the strongest position. And there's still a breaking point with that, with any club that we've all been at. We think, I don't know, might offer you 10 grand and you think you're worth 20. You're probably going to settle at about 12 and a half. There's still more to give when your arse falls out, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Because when someone's like that with the 5-year deal, you're sure.
It happens a lot on this pod.
Arsehole's falling out all over the shop.
But it does, doesn't it? Like you've got that 5-year deal there. Yeah. Do you really want to push it for an extra £2,000 a week?
Yeah.
But that's something I've got to ask all three of you. Do you think the majority of contracts that you get offered, the house wins? Like on the balance of things, obviously they're going to be good contracts for yourself. But do you feel that they've got you to a point where
not now? No. I think maybe. I think certainly in the early days it was very much. I remember the stories of United boys talking about Alex Ferguson. It's like you're at Man United, you take this or. But the thing is with him, he backed it up and you were gone. It didn't matter who you were.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I guess I think that certainly now the players now.
The players got the power now.
But you say, does the house win? I think the house always wins because they're making the big money, and it's all trickle down effect. So if I know you spoke about it. If you look at Rashford earning 300 grand a week, we would go, that's astronomical money. But how much are the owners making? The Adidas contracts, the training grounds, the stadium tours. Do you know what I mean? So the house does always win. That's just fundamentally how it is. I think the best deal is when both are pissed off. So you're not happy because you think you can get more, and they're happy because they think they overpaid you. That's the best deal.
Did you have a contract, Crouchy, where you felt both sides were adequately pissed off?
You had about 7.
I can vouch for 2 of them.
Yeah, there was quite a few. Yeah, there was quite a few. Well, I remember obviously the one with Tottenham, and I went to Stoke was, I had 2 years left, and Daniel Levy was like, "You're going to Stoke?" I was like, "Pardon?" I said, "What? Why?" He said, we're bringing in Adebayor, and you're going to Stoke." And I said, "Well, obviously, I've almost 30 now. I've got a voice now.
Absolutely.
Felt like I've played for England, and I had the ability to say, well, no, I'll see you in the morning. I'm coming. I'll see you." And he was like, "Well, no, we're getting 10 million for someone who's 30, and Wilson Palacios was going for 6 million, who had a bit of a dodgy knee." So you're getting 16 million for 2 players that you don't actually particularly want anyway. I was saying, well, it doesn't take a fucking brain science to work out. You're getting 16 million and I don't particularly want to go. But I was just showing me some of that. And it's got to be fair. If you want me to go. So obviously, with Daniel, I think it's well documented that he doesn't like,
It's got the T-Rex arms. Can't quite reach the bottom.
He didn't like that, obviously.
But that's hard because you're not with your agents aren't sorting that. At that point, you're personally sorting that.
Well, I think it's because
but you're great footballers. You're not necessarily good contract.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
Oh, well, that's the initial discussion, but then you send in the
when it gets to the nitty gritty and how you're going to get paid and tax implications and all of that fun stuff. That's what you said. Yeah. That's what you said. But in the fact of like Crouchy going, I ain't leaving, and I could ruin your session. What you want to do about it is. That you probably use those words. I would have used those words, but
you did use.
Well, I've seen those words.
Loads of times. I always get what I want.
I was reading just before, right? Hold on. This was I think the comment was, "I'm going to injure every player."
Yeah. But that was because it's not taken out of context because I did say it, but it's the context behind it is we had an agreement. And like most people, they try and stiff you right at the last minute. Yeah. And it's like, okay, then what do you want to do? Do you want to do what we said we were going to do? Or do you want me to be the bad guy that I can be?
Also, were you talking about the way I understood it? Because I did see your comments on this, but and they were, for me, they were like, because you're so candid in how you talk. And that's a wonderful trait about you.
Not for my
Were
missus.
you talking hypothetically? You were talking about
of course you're not going to go in and injure you.
You're not saying do this or I'm going out.
You were just basically saying you're going to be difficult because you've gone back on your word.
Absolutely. And also, remember, so we'll skip forward and go back a little bit. So when I went to Watford, I had a decent deal and I was buzzing. Then I went to jail and I did 2 years basically on the same, for less money basically, because I felt I owed Watford something. So then when it comes to paying me, it was like, hold on, you've had 2 years for free here, essentially. Yeah. Like, I know we're all good, but any chance? I'm turning down moves left, right, and centre because I feel like I owe you. So now you can sort me out. And what you said you were going to do versus what you actually were doing were 2 different things. And also, not every conversation reaches our doorstep, does it? What they say with the agents and how it gets back to you. I was just like, fuck it then, I'll hurt everybody. I bet they will then.
Do you get that savvy to that way of working, though? I suppose going back to where you were and you're getting offered that first contract, you're not blooded in yet, you're new to it. Yeah, this is something that comes with experience and time, I imagine.
Of course it does. And when I left, so we'll just fast forward a little bit. When I left Walsall in the summer, I was told I was being sold because that's what Walsall did. They sell people. I was going to Charlton. Like Charlton was the club I was going to, and I was like, oh sweet, no problem. And then all throughout the summer, it changed from Charlton to Watford, and the things I had to do from Watford's point of view to get me out, it was all right then because Watford got it. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And obviously it's different ownership now, but it was like, right, you're going to have to, it was all through pre-season, right, you're going to have to kick balls away, you're going to have to do this. And I'm like, no problem. I was on £180 a week versus a £5,000 a week contract. Mate,
You smash the balls as far as you can.
Yeah, you're not wrong. At Warsaw, where they trained, they moved to this new training ground. It was like right behind a housing estate, but they didn't put the nets up yet. Yeah. I was like, that garden's getting it. Every time a ball comes, just pinging it over there. And I had to apologise to the boys beforehand. It's like, look, it's no hard feelings, but my mum's working 3 jobs.
I've got to do what I've got to do.
Yeah. She's working 3 jobs.
For my lack of understanding, is this to be able to move clubs? Because you have to look a bit shit.
No, so basically just show what this can look like for the remaining. I had about 18 months left on my deal at Warsaw. They wanted to sell me, but they was arguing over like 20 grand. And I mean, you're like, now it's like, come on, just take care of it. But at the time, obviously Warsaw want everything. Watford weren't in a position to just go there as 20. It just ends up in this weird thing when like, I'm like, it's 20 grand, like, just sort it out. But a week would go by and they've got up 5 grand. Another week go by, got up 5 grand. It's like, just get it done, man. Yeah. But everyone's penny pinching, and I didn't understand the business at that point. I'd only been in football. I signed when I was 19 at Warsaw. I'm moving at 21 to Watford. Yeah. So I don't know the business here. I don't know my arse from my elbow, for being totally honest. Yeah. So you just, now I've got that experience, and we'll get onto that a bit, but that's at like 28, 29. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's play.
And how was your kind of first impressions of Watford and being down there?
Mate, Watford was it was mental. So I say this a lot, like I'd never left Birmingham at this point. So if you imagine living in London and not knowing where Watford was, I didn't know where Warsaw was. So when they were saying you go to Watford, I was like, all right, sweet, where's that? All I knew there was 5 grand on the table. Yeah. I'm going to that. And that was it. And it was I signed on the first day of the season. So we were playing Norwich away on Sky on a Friday night. I signed Friday morning. So all pre-match and all that, I was driving up and down the country. So I had to go into Warsaw to say goodbye, to drive to Beaconsfield to sign a deal before 12, to then drive across from Beaconsfield to Norwich. Got there for about 4.
Why was it Beaconsfield? Was this the services?
The services, yeah. Just
signed your deal at the services.
At the service station,
Why is everyone signing their?
I didn't even get a Leon.
Wasn't it you? It was you as well.
Yeah, I had one with Stan Turner up there M6 when he was with Burnley.
I find this mental, the idea of footballers meeting in service stations to get stuff.
It's quite regular, you know. Back a while back, it was quite regular.
It's just an easy meet-up point, isn't it?
It's a great services, though. We've talked about it.
I stopped there today, on the way down. Yeah,
treat yourself.
Little Leon on the way in.
Is that your favourite services?
I've got an electric car as well, so it helps. It helps, yeah.
Have you seen Cobham services though recently?
I don't make it round that far, man. I ain't got all that money. I stop halfway. I only had 1 good contract, not 7. So then we went across to there, and then you just play. And at Warsaw, I was a big fish in a puddle. That's the way I describe it. And then you go into this, and like Malcolm Mackay, Sean Dyche was the assistant. It was proper like they didn't give a shit.
Well, I know both of those. I played with Malky at Norwich.
Yeah,
proper
blokes. Yeah, proper blokes. No bollocks. And I was like 21, chip on my shoulder. I'm on 5 grand a week. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Like, that's where I'm from. To put it into context, my signing on fee and my weekly wage by the end of the month, I could have bought my mum's house. So now, like, I'm the governor now. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm running around with like 20 odd lads that are from home that don't know their arse from their elbow either. So I just thought I was Jack the lad. I used to turn up every Tuesday. I used to play Saturday and I'd see Tuesday. I'd miss Sunday, miss Monday, because I had about 15 cats that died and, loads of funerals to go to. Yeah, I was just out and about on the tiles with the boys. Yeah,
back up in Birmingham.
Back in Brum. And like I didn't. The first year was a write-off, and you'll probably attest to this. Everyone was like, "He's shit." But I had Daddy Graham, who scored 28 goals, I believe.
I remember that. Yeah.
And Marvin Sordell scored 16 as a youth project. Yeah. And this kid who we signed for £500,000 was playing left wing, and I was like, "This is shit, mate. Get me out of here." So I always had this feeling that it was just going to end, and I'll just go out with the boys and enjoy it, because once the money goes, I'll be back on the site and earning my dough.
Do you regret, like, the first year? Do you regret some of those decisions?
Absolutely. Yeah. The first, up until I went to jail, I regret everything with football. So I basically learned how to be a professional after going to jail.
Did that help you? Yeah. Obviously,
absolutely.
We've not touched on that whole experience yet, but what were that
absolutely.
like?
It was the best thing that happened to me, and on my dad's grave, he's passed away now. I'd be dead, mate, if it weren't for that.
Really?
Yeah, I was just burning both ends of the candle, getting in so much trouble outside of football, but being rewarded because I was playing well with football, and it just needed to happen. It was like I say, I think everything happens for a reason. So like obviously the story goes, buried my dad on the Friday, went to jail on the Monday, and time to grow up. You've left the whole family in the lurch, so I feel like it was meant to happen for a reason. I really do.
But you'd have known no different, would you? Because what you grew up in is your environment, your culture. So you didn't know.
Mate, where I'm from, people go to jail and it's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's just a normal Tuesday.
Yeah.
So like when at home, in the football world, it was like, oh my God. It's like a bit like when Pennant went to jail. It was a bit like, oh my God, how's that happened? But where I'm from, it was just like, it's just another Tuesday. No one cares. And, life carries on, and then said person comes home and it's like, oh, he's back now. How are you? And we just kick on with how things were. It doesn't matter if Troy's playing football.
Did you feel supported in jail?
From
football? From
Daishi and Woney and the boys, They did everything they could to... So Daishi hated me when he was like a coach under Malky, because he could see there was potential and I was just messing it about. And then when he turned manager, I was like, oh shit, I'm getting sold here. Because like that guy that's always on you now, he takes over. I'm like, oh no, this ain't going to work out well. And he was brilliant for me. And that's why I still love him to this day. Like I spoke to him a couple of weeks ago. But he's in that situation where he knew I needed like a strong, regimented type, do this, do that, and you'll get that at the end of it. And he was brilliant for me. If you remember that year I went to jail, I didn't actually play under Dyche until Jan. Because it was Joe Garner and Marvin that played. Yeah. And we sold Marvin when we played Millwall away.
And Marvin he was getting a couple of England starts, right? And
21.
Would have been
21. He went to the Olympics as well, and he had all of that.
And Dyche was in his shorts era at that point. That was when
he was managing in shorts.
He was an enforcer.
He had proper Copa Mundials. Couple studs in the back just in case it was needed. He was game, mate. He was game.
If my memory serves me right, I'd love to know how it was training under that type of management, because that feels like with Malky and him quite a strong management. But it would be like Malky would be shouting something and all of a sudden Dyche comes out and he's just sent out like an attack dog almost, and he looked frightening.
He had the spirit of like a Rottweiler. Just on the leash. When you see him foaming at the mouth. Remember the old Gavinci top with him on? That was Dyche then. And when he come out, you shit yourself. You were proper worried.
But you're saying you didn't feel that you were that disciplined even with that type of management at that point?
Because it's only a couple of hours a day, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when I was in, when I was in, I was sweet. It was the driving to and from that was the problem.
Were you going back up to Birmingham? Living up?
Yeah, I've always lived in Birmingham. Right. So they did try their best to get me down, and I think I lasted about 2 weeks. London's a bit too fast-paced for me. And I'm a little bit old school, so I like to hold the door open for people and, let a woman sit down and all of that kind of stuff, and especially elderly people. And, I used to get into trouble in, like, what's the...
Destiny?
No, it's not the nightclubs. Sticks me right up there. No, you know...
Destiny.
No, you know the...
I've been in trouble in there.
We've all been in trouble in Destiny.
What's the Watford shopping centre called?
Harlequin.
That's the one. Yeah, the Harlequin. So I used to go in there and hold the door open for people, and then I'd walk through and not say anything. I'd go, I'll fucking hold it then, shall I? And then like end up into like squabbles in the Harlequin centre because it's not for me, mate. If I'm holding the door open, like at least she goes, "Oh, nice one," or or a little head nod or something. But like they just walk through, carry on, and then I was like, nah. So there was all of that. So I was like, get me back up north where the people are a lot better. Sorry for anyone who's south of the border, but
do you know what? You're spot on. I remember when I moved from Chelsea to Villa, and we moved up because the first time we'd been out of London, really, and we lived in Solihull, and just going to Marx's or doing a shop, and everyone like the till you put it away, and they're like, how's your day been today? You're good. And you're like,
mate, my missus.
Pack your bag. To me, like, oh yeah, what you up to now? And I'm like my missus was like, fucking hell, everyone's talking about it.
My missus from Purley, so she moved up like 4 years ago, and just had our little man. She's walking around. This is like back end of COVID, so she's walking around the aisles, and some old lady was like, oh, let's have a look, and like got to the little one. She's like, what are you doing? I was like, babe, no, that's what happens up here. Like we say hello. And she's like, oh. that don't happen on the tube. I was like, yeah.
I remember we were down south when we had our first baby. We were down south, and I remember Ab was constantly like, we were going to the park, and she was like to people she didn't know, like, you know, there's a baby here. Like, honestly, it's just like, why is no one like saying, "Oh, there's a little baby"? Like, so we went back up north to show, you know, to see a mum and a dad. We were everywhere. Let's have a look. Like people you don't know.
Absolutely.
Like, there's a baby. Let's have a look. And I was like, what is going on?
You know, it's weird. And when someone says like "Good morning," and everyone's like, what? Yeah, just have a good day. Yeah. So sorry.
I just want to go.
Took a bit of a left turn there.
Yeah, we do on this.
We're doing a lot, mate. This could go anywhere.
I just want to go back to prison because you said about obviously you learnt a lot from that day onwards.
Yeah.
When you're in there and obviously that door shuts, was you still on like the ego one where this is nothing for me, or was was you frightened, or was it a moment where
do you know what? It's probably a bit of everything. So my dad was my superhero. And we had our differences or whatever, but he was my superhero. So he found out he was sick the end of Feb, died in May, start of May. Wow. So it was like a 8 to 9 week turnaround, like bang, bang. And he was like, I always thought he was like 6'5", but he was my height. But he just had that aura to be like bigger, loud. Everywhere he went, people turned. And if he walked in his room now, we can't see around the corner, we'd be like, someone's in there. He just had that presence. So then like, burying him was obviously difficult, but I was due to go to court before he died, and my legal team were like, "Look, you go to jail. We know you go to jail, but let's just try and push it." Because the only thing I didn't want was my mum to see me like all cuffed up to a guard and all of that. And it's more for her sake than mine, if I'm being totally honest. And then so anyway, we managed to push it back to the Monday, bury Dad on the Friday. And then go to jail on the Monday. And as soon as the door shut, honestly, there's an element of relief. Like, thank fuck. Like, it's just me to worry about now. It's very selfish because my oldest son was like 2 at the time. But then, as like the days go on, you start, the reality kicks in. So when I first walked in, I was like, all right, because it's Winston Green Jail in Birmingham, which I knew I had friends there. My dad's friends were there, I had relatives in there. It's like, this is sweet, this will be no problem. And then, like, I've told you story before, but that you go to like a holding cell, and then while they're figuring your paperwork out, they're like, come and get you in the morning, right, you're on this wing, you're going here, give me the paper. And I was on the front of the Sun, Daily Mail, and Birmingham paper, but they give me the Birmingham Mail, threw it into my chest, and went, by the way, they all know who you are, pushed me through the door, shut the door, and I was like, fuck it, here we go then.
Through the door to where?
Like each part of the cell, the jail is like blocked by big iron doors, like what you'd see on all the like the old. It's a proper old jail. So just pushed me through that, shuts the door, and I was like, just stood there going, now what? And there's another guard comes towards, like, you're down here in this cell, you're this to this. I was like, all right, cool. Because my dad had been to jail loads of times, but in our house we'd never spoken about it. It'd never been a thing. Dad went on holiday. That's all we do. And then as time went on, by the time I got comfortable in there, door knocks, you move in jail. What do you mean I'm moving jail? Like, you got 20 minutes, pack your stuff up, you go. And they threw me up north and I ended up in Warrington, and that's really where the growing up phase happened then, because you've got lads who are trying to come home. It was a Cat D jail, so some lads get a weekend at home. They've done long stretches, they're trying to reintegrate them into normal society. And you realise that because all these people that have done long sentences they're not messing it up because this is their chance to get home. So you start having different conversations then about understanding, well, what are you going to do when you get home, and what are you going to do, and why are you in there? You have more time to talk, and it's an open jail, so you have a key for your room. So people just leaving the doors open, and you're able to communicate. But like about 10 o'clock, all the doors get locked up, and then you're in. But it was a weird time, but it was certainly one I needed, mate. Certainly one I needed.
It was formative, wasn't it? And it was part of your life. And so you. Then...
But I do have to say, sorry, I've started realising I've not been doing this enough. So there is a family on the other end of my actions. So I do want to be categorically. I'm not saying this for like make Troy look good or whatever. And I apologise sincerely all the time to to the family that was affected. It's not the Troy Deeney show by any stretch of the imagination. So I just want to get that in, because I feel like every podcast I've done over the last 10 years has mentioned that, and there is a family on the end, isn't there? There's a victim side to it.
Very true.
So I just want to make sure that that's in. So
so you then
let's get back to the fun stuff. Yeah, it's a bit too deep in here.
Yeah, and also
My Spanish amigo behind there is falling asleep.
well, we're a football pod as well, aren't we? And that's really what we're here to talk to you about. And so you're with Watford. It's a very strange experience that you've gone through there in terms of being part of a football club and doing that. And it's probably a weird one for the club as well to navigate. And then you come out. Did you feel supported when you came out of prison?
Again, everything happens for a reason. So this is that same summer I got locked up. Gino Pozzo bought the club.
Yeah.
And then they bought in 38 players, I believe, that summer. So it only got to, I came out September, October I came out. So it was only like then when, that final end of the window, they've got to ask for the numbers and that. Yeah. Matty Vidra wanted number 9. So they've gone, well, yeah, you can have 9. Who's 9? And they've gone, who the fuck's that fella? Like, we've not seen him. And I had like 3 weeks left before I was coming home. So they were like trying to go through they didn't even know I was there. Roster. Yeah, because they were so busy in takeover, bringing players in. Yeah. At one point, we had 47 players. My first day of training when I got back on tag was 47 players. You must
have not been able to recognise the club. Like, seriously.
No, I literally walked in. I was like, "Fuck's going on here?" Like, but so they kind of just said, look, they were doing the paperwork, and obviously we were being smart and pushing back a little bit to like try and delay it. As I came out, the year before, Gianfranco was at Watford versus West Ham at Upton Park. We lost 2-1 on the night, but I played really well. And he wanted to have a look what I could do, because they had like the other strikers, Chris Iwalumu. We had a few older boys around that were like, they were target men, but not what he wanted. So he said, look, let's see what he's like for a week. I had a proper Jermaine Pedder ad friggin' tag on, and listen, I'd be hitting the weights hard. If you think I'm big now, I was a big old unit when I came then. And the first day in, he sat me down, to be fair to him, and was like, look, I appreciate it's going to be difficult with tag, but we've got 9 strikers. You're like the 9th one. And I don't know where this arrogance came from. I was like, we'll see. And he was like, okay. Come back in the next day. And bear in mind, my probation hours were 7 till 7. So I just literally made this decision that I was going to leave at 7 on the dot. Getting from Birmingham to Watford was like hour and 35. Getting for just after 8:30. Gym, train. I just batter it until 4 or 5 o'clock, because then all I'm going to do is go home, do it again. So I had another 3 months on tag, and I just battered it. I just came back on this like so focused and clear that I'm never going to let this ever happen again. But when I walked into Watford the first day's training, I remember he's got like, right, you're going to go out with a fitness guy. And I said, yeah, no problem. So Fitzhall was working with one, big Fitz. Marco Cassetti was working with another. They were having like the over 35 street, but like, have a nice little jog and everything will be all right. The good old days, you remember them lads. And then they had, on one picture was 11v11. Another picture was at 11 in shape, and there was 7 injured. And then there was like me, they were like, right, bleep test, do all of that fun stuff. And 10 days later, I'm starting against Huddersfield away. Yeah.
So how does it go then? Like, where are we there? Sorry, it's like this is your life here, isn't it? I'm like, I'm so interested.
Covered a big red book.
I enjoy it. No, it's an interesting story, isn't it?
Yeah.
So like, where are you? Are you in the Championship here now?
Yeah, Championship. This is 2013. So this ends up being the season of the Leicester goal. So the start of that season, I was in jail, and then at the end is.
I didn't realise it was so quick like that.
Yeah. So the Leicester goal is May, and I came back to jail in September. So it's a really quick turnaround. Yeah.
I watched that goal this morning, right? Because for me, like it's just my memory of you is like all encapsulated in that moment, because it
you
felt
thinking
like
that fat fuck when he took his top off?
The presence of mind, like for the penalties, for the blood to be pumping the way it was. And were you there?
Yeah.
Right. Like I love the playoffs anyway, and I will. sometimes I look at amazing football. I look at Serie A, or I look at La Liga, and I think, do you know what? I'd rather watch a playoff match.
Absolutely.
And maybe the standard might not be as good as, or technically maybe as them, but that's because of moments like this.
Absolutely.
And the finals and the excitement of it all. And the fact that the penalty was saved, and then he got up, and when I watched it this morning, when Mourinho got out, I think he was just getting up, just trying to get to his feet.
It's horrible, isn't it, the way he moves? I was like, again, stars had to have aligned, because he's like the leading tower of Pisa. He saves, and he's like,
and then I don't know how he got down to the second one.
But even knockout taking it, like, it's weird. So Anthony obviously has become infamous for that, but
because it shouldn't have been a penalty, by the way.
Yeah, it was never a penalty.
But you had Dave Nugent there, who was a regular penalty taker. You had Harry Kane on the pitch, and Anthony went, "No, I'm taking it." Yeah. And like now, but now you'd have had a full-on Chelsea moment, wouldn't you? Like people scrapping to get the ball and that. But then it was just, well, he's got it, leave him be. And the next 15 seconds are for a long time, mate. I didn't appreciate it, because we end up losing in the final. So I was always like, as lads, you're like, oh fucking, I didn't really count for it. Yeah. But now, like, I've got a 4-year-old who's never really seen me play at a decent level, if I'm being totally honest with you, that he can remember. And he now can recite it all. Obviously with TikTok and all of that fun stuff now, he does it in the house. He's like, hug, Deeney! And he tries to jump over the sofa.
My boys know it. My boys know it off by heart.
Well, kids recreate it. That's quite a big thing on TikTok, actually. I've seen this, where kids in the playground with the commentary recreate.
Awesome, So it's the whole presence of mind, right? If that's me, I'll be honest with you, I'm going for goal there.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he's cushioned it, but then
he's a team player, Hoggy.
Yeah, Hoggy's brilliant,
but even
mate.
your finish as well there, like, that's so easy to snatch at that, but you've waited.
You know what? This is the first time I knew I was half decent, and the reason I say that is because when it's happening, I'm kind of like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go. I'm jogging, and then I see it happening, and I've relived the moment before it even happened. Yeah. I'm like, if I get there, I'll score. And as Hoggy heads it down, everyone's like, oh, what do you think in that moment? To me, the gap was so big. It seemed, anyway. When I watch it back, I didn't see Casper coming. I didn't see, I think it's Richie Delap throwing himself in front of the ball. At that moment, it was, there's the goal, just like put it into there. So it felt like I was on a training ground, and it's a very out of body experience. So like, just to be like so calm, like, this is easy, just score. And then when I scored, it was like,
but I wasn't calm, right?
No. As soon as I scored, though, mate, it was like the noise just hit me in the ears. Do you know what I mean? I was like, oh fuck, now what? And I just ran off. And then
was your mates in that bit?
That's my brother. When I jump, that's my kid brother that catches me, and then all my mates come piling on, and it just goes to show like Watford, because even that stand, if you remember, was condemned. That stand shouldn't have anybody in, but they got like some license to have 200 people in. So we had all the families in there. So it was kind of one of those moments that when you score, you knew where to run to. It still happened. And I'm still amazed how I got my shirt back, because I flipped my shirt off. Everyone runs on the pitch. And I end up just picking my shirt up. I still got that, to be fair.
It's just one of the most incredible moments, obviously in a personal, but in a wider football.
Can I ask a question? Sorry to interrupt you. I had this conversation on TalkSport the other day. I've been lucky, right? You guys have had much better careers than me. I was able to have a moment, and I don't think many people have moments in their career. Yeah. No. I think it's second to Aguero in English football, personally. You might think I'm being arrogant and you can tell me to fuck off, I've no problem.
Yeah.
But is there any other moments other than those two where you can remember exactly where you was when you saw it, what you were doing? Do you like the whole feeling?
It's a great question. I mean, on a personal level, I guess,
because you got
treble, the United Solskjaer goal.
Are you talking like English football?
Yeah, I'm saying like the treble's great, but I'm saying you can't tell me where you was for all three moments. You just said there, you skipped the other two, you've gone straight to Munich.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I just think like with Aguero, I was in the boozer watching that on a Sunday, and I remember Rooney like walking up and down the pitch. You can remember every single sinew of it. That's kind of what
I mean, obviously it's different as a Watford fan, I guess, for me. And
that's why I asked these two. You just answered.
I can remember it. We had a game at Fulham. I was at Fulham at the time, and because we either played early, or you kicked off later on, and we come in.
Oh, okay.
After a game, and it was on in the players' lounge.
Oh, there you go. So that's what I mean. I feel like everyone knows where they was at.
Yeah, I think like Istanbul was a moment. I think like Liverpool was. Oh, and obviously I think World Cups.
Of course. You know, I'm on about just like English football.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievably special. Like for me, it was. I remember even the Clive Mendonca hat trick, that final. Do you remember that where it was Sunderland, Charlton? I remember that kind of game. But that was up there for me as one of the best moments I've seen, because you don't see a penalty save like that and then it happens.
Yeah, all in the same sequence.
And the scenes after as well. Right?
Yeah.
But to have a moment, that's the thing, Troy. To have a moment that will outlive you.
Absolutely. Yeah, already has.
That's such a rare. Like, it is a beautiful thing. You're very lucky because. You know, you're lucky enough to make it as a footballer. You're even lucky if you have one of those moments, let alone it being such an important game. And
it's just nice, mate. Like now, so like I said, we've been fortunate. We travel the world and go to all these lovely places, and it's like wherever I go, they're like, "Oh, Deeney, Watford." My missus is like, "You got the most, either the ugliest face or the most recognisable face in this world." Because wherever I go, mate, they're like, "Deeney, that goal against Leicester." Yeah. So now I've started to embrace it a bit more now.
That's the end of part 1 of Troy Deeney. Join us next week, part 2.